Yes, I did see. So that is why we're gonna start with you, Greta. I'm just doing a quick story announcement so I can see if I can get more people to show up. Alright, I'm glad it's not just going to be Jesse's stuff, that not just going to be your stuff for this crit stream, so maybe it'll be a little more fun. If you haven't noticed, I'm leaning towards like a redhead right now because my hair is like super red from the dye. Anyway, let's get started. Let's create a arcade vibe. You too? Did you dye your hair too, Greta? Okay, let me see. Okay. One question is, would you prefer to have more of your picture be purple, or do you want to have like a mix of blues and purples like your usual vibe? It looks good on me. I actually did the whole peekaboo color. It's just, this is like very subtle lighter color, and I think it'll get more obvious as I keep washing it. I didn't want to do like pure black hair on top just because it's so harsh of a contrast. Okay, mix of blues and purple. Okay, let me just bust out some arcade photos so we have some references. Copy. And just keep in mind, my Photoshop has been so wonky as of late. I don't understand what's going on with it. Every time I use my brush, sometimes it gets so glitchy and it just clicks these random buttons. So you may see me getting frustrated throughout this whole session. I actually think this one's probably closer to what you want. Adobe's cursing me. It's like, how dare you try to not pay for subscription fees? I already paid for Adobe Premiere, so they can't try to wring more money out of me. It's just not fair. And then so what you're gonna notice is that you're gonna need to decide where's your light source. So if you're gonna decide this is your light source, this is gonna be dark, which kind of defeats the purpose. So I would suggest we go the opposite direction. We're gonna go for some more bluish hues farther back. Oh, is it just that light? Okay. And then we can go a little bit more reflective on the floor with some purpley colors. And then we'll have all the light colors be over here. So I'll put it on a different layer so you can mess around with it as you will. You've been so art blocked? No, I feel that. I feel like I haven't been as productive as I would have wanted to. Like, you see my rate of creating art, it's so slow, and it's partially because I just feel like with social media lately, you don't really see as many of your favorite artists, and you feel kind of discouraged with just the way the whole art world is going. But I don't know, I think that one way I try to break out of the art block is I just keep trying to, if I see something in my everyday life that seems like a really cool idea, I kind of at least sketch it out a little bit, even if it doesn't become a full-fledged idea. That way when you do feel ready to come back in and, you know, get the inspiration to create full works, you have kind of like a comfortableness, like you're not just immediately jumping cold into trying to draw again. Like, I look at pictures or of like my Pinterest, or I just go outside and when I'm taking a walk, I'm like, oh, that color looks nice. Just, you know, jot it down, try play around with like, maybe this can become an idea or something. It doesn't have to be a crazy idea. It could just be like, oh, this flower, make it into a dress or something. Or if you see the sky and the clouds look really nice, maybe sketch that out. Do a little study of that. Sometimes that can lead to something. All right, and then these are the glass. So let's go lighter. Maybe something like that. And right now we're just basically defining all the colors that are happening. I'm gonna hide the light layer you have going on here because now it doesn't make sense anymore. You could try something else. Sometimes I feel like I get reinvigorated just by trying like a different genre. So if you're getting tired of all the neon stuff, maybe something you could do is consider trying to go for more fantasy. So you could go for creatures, fantastical creatures. You could go for historical fantasy. You could go for like medieval. You could try going to... I usually try to go extreme because if you're used to like doing cyberpunk stuff, you're not going to want to do more of it. You could try just doing... What are some other genres? You could try doing sports. That's also an option. That's like a super out of left field kind of vibe, but sometimes it does kind of break you out of the little rut that you are in because you're kind of exploring different concepts. Let me see what other references you gave me. Okay, so this is the white hair guide, right? From your reference that you sent me on the Discord. Sports. I gave you like nothing. Yes, okay. If this is supposed to be white hair, we're gonna bring the ambience of the room into all the colors. So that means we're gonna apply kind of a bluish purple hint to it. So I'm gonna push some of the colors. In his other hand. Yes, I think that's a good idea, but I'm gonna tell you what didn't pop out to me when I first looked at it after I do this. Okay, so I fixed that color a little bit, so just before, after. You see how gray it was, so everything looked very green. So the room, even though if it doesn't have like direct lighting, so if your room's like green, it's going to cast sort of a greenish bounce light kind of color filter over your whatever you're looking at. So if we're gonna choose to make your room more of this neon color, then we're gonna have to push it more towards like the blues and purples in order for him to look like he exists in the room that he's in. So of course we can add some of those colors that we have in our room into other areas. Shoop. And then you could even do some bluish reflections up there. Shoop. Just like how you see in this picture. It doesn't have to copy it exactly, obviously. And then let's bring some of those ghosts. Shoop. And I'm gonna opt for a warmer blue for the ghost. Just because we have so much of the cool colors, cool blues, if you use a cool blue also, it's going to look very similar and it's kind of blend into it. But if you do really want to use You see what you see what I'm talking about, Greta, look. What the hell is going on with my Photoshop? I can't even with it. It slows down everything so much, I swear to God. A lot of mech stuff. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, that makes sense why everything's so cutesy. Click. And you can either make the ghost eyes transparent, so like you see straight through it, or you can choose to make it glow. Maybe purple. Depends. Yeah. Glow with purple. Let's go with I'm not just gonna do pure white. Oh my god. I've tried unplugging my tablet. I've tried resetting the software, but I may have to just uninstall the pen tablet driver and just reinstall and see if that fixes it. But that's goddamn annoying because I still have commissions and stuff to do. Okay, so I would probably add just a little bit of shadow so it doesn't look pure bright, 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 bright. Ooh, actually, let's go for teal. Might look better. Okay, where are those Figurino Baby-Os? Is that in the wrong layer? Okay. Nah, it's okay. My layer management is garbage too. Okay, first things first, if you make these characters this small, if you zoom out, it's very hard to see them. So what I would suggest you do, just make them a little bit bigger. And then I would bring it down a little bit, and then we're going to bring down the hand just a scooch. Where's the hand layer? Is that the hand layer? No. I'm gonna merge those, and we're going to make this hand a slight bit bigger, a slight bit more exaggerated, so we can have them actually sit in his palm. It's so hot today, and I just have Mellow Mellow sitting in my fridge, and I cannot wait to eat it after the stream. Someone asked me, do you want milk tea or Mellow Mellow? I was like, which one is more expensive? Yeah. Okay, let's cut this onto a different layer so I'm not worried about messing up everything. Probably doesn't make too much sense. If you do it this big, it creates a little bit more focus on these characters than this guy. If you don't want it that much of a focus, let's not make it too big. We'll just make it slightly bigger so they can stand on it, and we're going to bring this down just a tad bit. And when we bring this down, that means we're also going to have to change the angle of this arm right here because it no longer makes sense. On these ghosts, 80s, 90s. Yeah, my sister was telling me it was like 96 over in New York today. It's crazy. The heat decides to come in July instead of June like any normal summer. Let's hide these babies. And let's fix up the angle for this guy. And remember, because the arm is a cylinder, as we kind of go forward more and more and more towards the audience, it's going to become more like a circle. You're really not going to see a lot of, you're not going to see this elbow bend. You end up seeing just mostly like this roundness of the arm. So like, right? So you can't see most of the arm when the hand is kind of tilted like this. And you gotta line up this part, which is the wrist, with the arm. So I'm gonna make this a little bit higher, just a little bit. Okay, that way it makes more sense. And I know these aren't fleshed out either, so I'm not going to worry too much about their faces or anything. We're just going to talk about how to make them feel a little more dynamic and feel like they're actually standing on his hand. So I'm going to separate those two first. Okay, options. You can have one guy standing on his fingers. Yeah, no worries. We're just going to help you develop your ideas a little better so they feel more interesting. And I'm going to warp these babies a little bit. To make them feel like they're standing more on his hand, I might make their legs a little bit more wide, just to match the way that hand is kind of like a slanted tilt. If your hand's not very, if you're not standing slanted like V-shaped like this, I feel like oftentimes you don't have enough balance, you're gonna tilt over. So same for this guy. Top heavy, exactly. They need that bottom support and they ain't got the muscles to do it. They skip leg day, Greta. So the only way they can compensate it is to create that strong shape, which is the triangle, right? Maybe I'll shrink this guy a little bit. But I still want to see him, so we have the dilemma. Okay. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have this guy stand in front on his finger. Super not stable, but this is the only way I can think of to kind of make him fit. You can make it seem like he's kind of off balance too. You could be like, oh my gosh. We're gonna move his head a little bit. Like he's about to fall over or something. Oh. And when he does that, you're gonna have your arms shaking. It would add a lot more story, right? So it wouldn't just be two figures standing super stick straight. You have a little bit more of, oh, these two characters, these doll, voodoo doll kind of types, but they're not actually, are actually characters that have their own personality, own life, own feelings. Now I kind of basically got rid of all your sketch marks, so you're gonna have to redraw those. I'm trying to make it as chaotic as possible, so these legs gotta go everywhere. That's the most I'm gonna do for that part. And in that case, let's make the hair fly a little bit. I know it's a doll, but still. And I don't know if you took inspiration, but they're basically like there's different ways to draw chibi. So I think the way I learned it was from reading this manga series called DramaCon, I think. And the way they drew chibi is basically very much like how this is. Only difference is they exaggerated the cheek a little bit more. Okay, something like that for that guy. This guy, maybe he's scratching his head. I don't know, like like he's like, oh darn. Thank God it's not me there. Yeah, how the mangaka draws chibi. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to draw chibi. I think it just all comes down to making the arms as short as possible, the head humongo, round out the cheeks. You can poke it out a little bit, so you can still get that kind of face shape. The green-haired character is the scaredy cat character. Okay, so is this scaredy cat character? Or is this black hair in the center character? If he's also distressed, we're gonna make this hella funny then. Okay, we're gonna make this hella funny then. Let's go. He's going to be standing here saying, "Dear God, is that going to be me? How could this happen today? This was not our day." Okay, he's gripping his face being like, holy shit, help. Help this man over here. Give him his hat. Because this man needs his hat to save him. Okay, here's his little speakers. Okay, so maybe that's the story that's going on here. Now the characters feel a little bit more alive and interacting with the scene. And then let's find the other guy. Black-haired guy over down there. Down yonder. Oh, he's part of him. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. I'm sure you're gonna clean those up. Just make sure you make his hair a little bit more S-shaped for the curves outside, because it seems like from the picture, the mangaka, they made his hair kind of like fluffy, almost like a wolf kind of hair. So instead of doing spiky like Naruto, we're gonna do a little bit more S-shapes. And I don't know anything about this guy's personality, but from the picture that you sent me, he looks very laid back, doesn't give a shit, pretty chill, so maybe his expression isn't going to be exactly this. Maybe he's yawning or something. And instead of doing the nice ballet tip V-shaped toes, you're going to just give him straight legs so he seems more chill, more relaxed, and less super pristine and everything. Something like that, maybe? And boy, oh boy, is his hair hella shaggy, so we gotta make it cover his eyes like an emo a little bit. Cho protagonist. Exactly, Greta. So we gotta give him the personality of a glutton. So that means super lax, no super sharp, stiff shapes. The legs, arms, everything gotta be super chill. So if you think about what's the chillest pose, it's like your hands hanging loose, legs not posed at all. I'm just gonna make him a yawn or something. I don't know. Alright, so now it portrays his personality just a little bit more. So these two characters are freaking out while this guy's just like, whatever. It's not me. And for these characters, for these stuff right on top right here, you can take the chime to fill it up with a whole bunch of different colors. So see how colorful it gets. You can totally do like those little eggs, different types of color eggs. I would just keep it in the range of here. So all the colors are going to stay here. You can have a little burst of that yellow orange, but your color scheme is going to stay mostly over here. So I don't know, maybe just you can throw in some colors like this here and there. Using local colors that you've seen. Yeehaw! So none of these are rendered, but you can just use it as reference of like what types of colors you can use. And you can play around with the saturation, so some might be a little bit more saturated, some a little less. And you could make this more of a saturated pinkish colors for the thing that comes out. You could even do darker purple blue color over here for the opening. Reflection lights over here, we can keep it more of a steely gray like that. And you can do reflections, so I don't know what colors are going to reflect there. Maybe some of that teal blue might reflect a little bit. Or maybe we'll bring some of the colors that are in the sky reflected over there. So let's see. If we're going to choose this as the shadow color, I'm going to lighten it up with a little bit more of that purpley pinkish color. I know it's horrible. I'm ruining all of your hard work. But oh so well, so sad. Too bad, so sad. I would rather we have the right colors over here than to have you render all of that and it being off colors. Easter eggs, exactly. And of course, like some areas, you can keep it very harmonious colors like this right here. So there's not too many of the color changes. It's mostly that pinks and purples and blues. And maybe that pop of like super saturated like red pink over here. So example of that you could do. So maybe instead of everything being that hot pink, you could choose, maybe I just want the fox to be that hot pink, and now I just want like a slight purplish, coolish color so the fox really pops out. So in this instance, we're going to make sure that warm colors are what we use for when we want things to pop out, and cooler colors for things when we want it to kind of sink into the background a little bit. Oh my god. So for shadows like this, we keep it to your cooler colors. Over here, we can use more of those pinks. This whole section of bang actually wraps around like this. So we need to make sure we keep this section as such, and this side we can have some more shadows. So you can tell, okay, this is that hair that's parted over like that. And if you want to bring back some of those kind of bluish colors, do just a little bit here, don't do too much. Alright, let's do a little bit of liquify to fix up some of his pose and his anatomy. So because I messed around with his arm, we kind of need to see a little bit more of his shoulder over here. And the angle of the shoulder needs to change. Because if it's doing this, it makes it feel like he's basically forcing his shoulder, shrugging it all the time, where if he's relaxed and just lifting it out, it's always going to create like a nice slope downwards. I just get kind of loosey-goosey with the fabric folds, especially when we're just blocking things in. I'm not going to worry too much about like, oh, I need a specific fabric fold. Just add in a couple of bumps and lumps, and it's going to end up looking like fabric anyway. See how it looks like fabric folds? Hello, hello. Liquify won't kill my computer, not before my stupid brush does it to me. If it doesn't do this, it will automatically, I don't know, press some kind of weird whack-ass button. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the hype. We're just doing some more fan art for Greta. Trying to fix up some of the poses so it makes sense. Ah! Okay, bring the arm out so he has an arm and it's not just stuck inside. And I'm going to help you define some of those shadows so we can see what the hell we're working with. So see how lazy I'm getting with the shirt fold? Let's hide this. The way I just do shirt folds, I just create V shapes, because when you're folding the shirt, it's obviously going to crunch it up a little bit and it's going to create overlapping folds like this, which inevitably create like a V shape. Gojo. I wish it were Gojo. No, no, it's Greta's obsession with more white-haired men. This little baby over here, he's got that sus look, so he feels very like a skeptical, like a very skeptical character. So I kind of want to bring that same skepticism back into his vibe. So his eyebrows gotta reflect it. So back to our expressions video, Greta. The eyebrows are everything. Along with the amount of iris we're exposing. Oops, what the hell did I do here? Whoops. Okay, using some of that same shadow color because I'm garbage. We're gonna shrink his chin down a little bit because it's too long for his face. It feels like he has way too much shit going on, and I know he's looking at us from kind of like a raised look a little bit. So we're gonna show more of that under chin. And let's hide his expression because I cannot draw faces for the life of me if there's something on there. So when I'm fixing up my works, I literally erase everything and they become like some horrifying creature from like The Scream or something. I kind of want to make his mouth tilted just a little bit so it feels like he's got that whole 5. Great minds think alike. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Come on, work with me. Alright, and you want to shrink the size of this part because the shirt is a very thin material, so if you draw it so thick it feels very much like wool instead of cotton or silk or whatever this shirt is made of. I don't know. I also don't know how square we should make his chin because he is still kind of a young guy, so if we make his chin super duper square like a Chad, he reads off as very old and mature instead of like the young youth that he is. So I'm going to round it out just a tad bit. And let's fix his eyes. While looking... It's a kind of a learned skill. So at first when I was like learning, like just starting out with digital art, it definitely felt really weird to kind of be looking at the monitor and then drawing. Oh my god. But I think eventually you kind of learn the hand-eye coordination, so it just feels like, oh, you're just drawing naturally and it doesn't become as much of a challenge. And in fact, now when I'm trying to draw on an iPad, I'm like, ah, I cannot. Okay, let's fix his face a little bit more. Shoop. Let's see. He's got a lot more hair on this side of the head. So what I'm going to do, let's make this more exaggerated. The worst type of hair. It looks so bad, the cowlick. I'll have to fix it by manual. Kind of give him the twink jawline, exactly. He literally, cause he's like a kid in school, so he's gotta get that very soft, femboy energy. But I still gotta make him look like a man, so. Okay, he's gonna probably have his Adam's apple over here, and we can bring it out. A tad bit. I'm pretty garbage at doing this. It's okay. It's okay. We learn. We learn eventually. Aw, thank you. The sketching part is definitely hard for me sometimes. It just really depends on... If the pose is hard, I get so frustrated doing the sketching portion because I'm trying to capture the energy of the pose and then I kind of get a big mess of lines. But what I've learned is to just kind of ignore how many lines I'm making And just keep it in the line work, because that usually ends up looking better than if I had like trying to clean up my line work. And that's like a little thing that I stole from Loish. She's really good at like keeping the sketchiness of her work. I love how Automod thought you using the word twink was a big no-no. As if this stream was ever PG. Never was, never will be. Okay, let's bring it down. Where is my stupid ass reference? Okay. Let's finish up the eyes a little bit so he looks decently passable. So one thing I do notice for your hair, you get very controlling with how the hair falls. So I want you to try to be a little bit more loose with your wrist and just try to go for that kind of feeling. That way your hair will feel a little bit more relaxed, less stiff. And even try to group up some of your hairs a little bit more, because you definitely have a lot of very small strands when you could use a little bit more of your big strands on occasion. So vary them. You've been called out. Exactly. What is this for, Greta? Is to make you improve. Okay, so if you have a big strand right here, you can totally add just a tiny strand next to it. But don't keep doing the same thing over and over, or your hair is going to end up very repetitive and not look that great. So see how once we kind of buried the size differences of the hair, it's kind of looking a little bit more animated, a little bit more alive. Who stopped my music? My stupid YouTube. Same for here. If I have a big chunk right here, maybe I'm gonna make a smaller, skinnier chunk. Big chunk next. That way the hair feels organic. Because hair isn't super uniform most of the time. And so we should draw it as uniform. Okay, see how the hair feels a little bit more interesting to look at from far away. So hair itself is its own silhouette. So if you don't have a very good silhouette, whatever you do in here, all the details, it's not gonna matter because the hair's gonna fall flat. I believe I fucked up with the mouth a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna try to save it with a little bit of eye bags. There's too much space in his cheek, so I need to do something about that. Fix the eye position, bring it up a little bit. Because they're not uniform, they're not lined up at all. And it's making me so upset. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of the pupils, it's just bothering me too much. And I feel like I know what's wrong with the eyes. They're too low. He is looking at us from... Oh my god, I made it too big. He is looking at us kind of at this tilted angle, so this part of the forehead should be foreshortened. You should see less of the forehead, but right now we're seeing so much of it. So that is why he doesn't look right. I know he looks weird right now, Greta. Just be patient with me. We're gonna make it look okay. And as such, I'm gonna shrink down his head just a tad bit so his head feels like it's tilting back. Okay, before, after, feels like he's tilting towards us now. Don't worry about the crosses just yet, I'll bring them back. I'm also going to reduce this distance between his eyes and his eyebrows. Okay, let's try to fix up his eyes. Because the eyes are the windows to the soul, so when everything is not framed properly, it just looks like a big old mess. And then I already don't even know what his eye colors was. Let's just do this. I know his irises are a pretty light shade, but I want to make it obvious that we can see his eyes. Oh, his eyes still aren't lined up. Okay, we're gonna have to draw a line to make our life easier because I'm not seeing it. I'm visually blind at this point. We may have scared him off. I don't actually know if this is the eye. Let me see. What was this manga called again, Greta? Let me see. Phantom Busters. Okay, I'm going to look this up. I need a high-res picture of all these baby boys. Oh my god, these are all awful pictures. The resolutions are so garbage. I'm getting nothing. What color is his eyes, for God's sake? Okay, the only picture I found, his eyes are black, so Greta. I guess we're going for black eyes, because Greta, I just looked it up and literally his black eyes. Are you saving me, giving me references so I can see what the hell the eyes are? I know the main character's got red eyes, so that's settled, but I'm seeing nothing. Zilch. Zilch for your... Okay. That boy has purple eyes. Okay. Okay. I can work with this. I can work with this. I can work with this. I repeat to myself as I'm struggling. Okay, bless up Greta, you've saved my life. So he has purple insides and green outsides. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because I don't feel like trying to copy it over. Shoot. There we go. I don't feel like trying to replicate that on my own. That's too much work. He's also got eye bags, so shoot. Let's make his under eyes darker. Take some of the purple. I think it's looking better, even though it's still pretty garbage. I didn't do enough guidelines. Okay, so don't be like me, Greta. Do more guidelines. No, it's my fault. I did not prepare myself properly for success. And then let's do his eye. Okay, he's somewhat looking at us now. Let's do the scars real quick. I'm gonna do it on a different layer so I don't feel like freaking everything up. Okay, so scars tend to be... There are two different ways scars can go. Scars can either be lighter in color, so those tend to be more raised, I think, in texture, and then there's scars that are more indented, so they get darker, but I'm not a scientist, so I may not know what the accurate way scars should be drawn. I just know how I draw them to make them look good. So we're gonna go a little bit darker today. And so you're gonna take the skin color, go darker and a little bit more pinkish. So this skin color, go darker, a little more pinkish. Yes, I believe in you, Greta. You're probably gonna figure it out better than me. Sometimes it takes me a while to kind of figure out the right expression that I want. So for this instance, maybe we're gonna have both his eyebrows raised up. I don't know. You decide how you want the eyebrows to be. I'm gonna try to make his eye look more sleepy so he gets that whole emo look more. lock the layer for me, please. Okay, and then we're just gonna add back the residual shadow that needs to happen from all the folds, all the concaves, whatever, etc., so that the scars look like they're part of the face and not just super separate things. I know in graphics, like for manga, like you stylize it so that they're pretty flat, very 2D objects, but in real life, scars do have a little bit of mass to them. I don't know, something like that. Probably looks heckin' weird with all the shadows, so maybe I'll brighten it up a little bit in his eyes. If you still feel like his eyes are kind of weird, you can just add back the little ring so you can see it better. Alright, let's get rid of that. You're scarred. Honestly, Greta, you're gonna get so good at drawing damaged men. Okay, his wrinkles are all hidden. Shoot. Ah, work with me. Alright, we gotta make him look more twink, so that means probably his chin's gonna go smaller. Okay, it's not too much smaller, it's just a little bit smaller. Still gotta make him look like a man. And I'm noticing this whole section is one section, and then this whole section is one section. So make sure you shade the hair just accordingly, okay? Alright, so that's just the general idea. Let's bring back the hand so he doesn't look whack-aff. Finish up all the general lighting and then we'll call it a day. His pants, let's make it a little bit warmer for the highlights. Oh, that's not the right... Where's that? Okay, that's what happened. That's where it went. I would go darker here because we need a good amount, healthy amount of contrast, and then you can bring back just a tad bit of that bounce light. Ugh. Could be purple, could be blue. I think it just depends on what's bouncing from the bottom, so I'm gonna say it's like this floor, which has that kind of purpley blue color, hence why I'm doing it like that. Then just to do the shadows for the wrinkles, just do it like that. For the floor, on the bottom here, you're going to want to bring some of that reflection light from your vending machines. Doesn't have to be too many of them. You want to kind of vary the lights a little bit, the colors. And it's kind of a reflection of whatever's showing on here. So if your vending machines have like light like there, you should probably match it a little bit so it makes kind of sense for your viewers. And you can break up the monotony of those highlights by bringing back some of those shadows in the cracks of the floor where the light wouldn't reach it. Something like that. Let's break up that chunk. Break up that chunk right there. In order to match it better. See how the green kind of pops out, feels out of place? So we're gonna go for more of a cyany color. you can push it a little bit towards like the green, but not too green or else it's gonna feel weird. So cyany color right about here. Somewhere there. That's probably the color I would go. Scared the other people away. Exactly. They were like, wow, they're so boring. It's okay. These streams are really just for learning opportunity. I don't really feel like what the heck? I don't feel like most of the people who do watch this are actually that interested. I feel like I'm not doing the right layer. But it is. Okay, so here's, we'll do it this way. Okay, that's how we're gonna make the color better. One last balancing act on his hair because he feels so freaking sad without his hair. Okay, and I'll just add a couple of, I don't know, strands here and there to make it believable. Okay, something like that. Let's go back before, after. So we get a little better feeling of the lighting and the face. Make sure the angle is at the right height so that the eyes feel good. If you want, you can add some words to the floor, add some more details regarding like the machine design. So play around with like, oh, maybe there's buttons, maybe there's labels, maybe there's little slots that the little machines can come out of. You can even do more texture, so you could just take a big brush like this and just choose like some random texture for the floor. Ah, work with me. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, work with me. And so you see how there's texture right here? You could totally do that yourself too, so your floor doesn't feel too super perfect. Which was the point of me using that weird texture brush instead of my usual soft brush, is because I kind of wanted to add a little bit more texture to the things that to the floor, so we're not just looking at the same old all the time. Of course. I will save this and let us work on Jesse's now. I believe he said he wanted... What did he want? Neon light. Okay. So for neon lighting, Jesse, you are not here, but it is fine. Yeehaw! Neon lighting means we do not have as many grays. So if we're working on grays for the most part right now, for value, then that's fine. But if you're thinking about for last steps, like here, then it's probably not going to work out to create a neon vibe, since most of the lights that we think of for neon lighting is very bright saturated colors. So we think of blues like this, we think of purples, we think of magentas like this, we think of neon green, yellow. Not so much this color. This is like less so, but it can happen on occasion, just not as often. Different person, same shit. Is y'all just really want me to do more neon colors, I guess. So first things first, we're going to save you some trouble. I'm gonna boost these all into black and white. So it'll be easier for us to fix the colors. Who to blame except my Patreons? They're all lovers of neon colors. Dinner time, go have dinner. Just be chilling. Okay, Jesse, for your future self, let us do some color adjustments, and I'm going to use the layers that I do have in order to help you do that. We're going to think about, how dark do you want this composition, right? If you are thinking that you want this to be over here, this part to be the brightest, or do you want this part to be the brightest? So deciding if you want it front lit or backlit. I'm thinking for this instance, maybe it would be cool to have maybe this part super bright, this alleyway super dark, and then you can have some parts of the alleyway be kind of revealed using these neon lights. So for cooler colors, typically you want to go more towards blues. So in the pictures that you show me here, blues, right? Blues, right? Warmer colors for your focal point. Blues for far away focal point is warmer colors. Same for this one. Based on the color you gave me, I'm assuming you want more of that turquoisey color for your cool colors, and you want very orangey colors for your lights. And why does that work? It's because turquoise and orange or yellow orange are complementary colors, which is why they work so well together, why the colors all look really harmonious and everything. Same goes for like your blue purples and your pinks. These are your blue purple right here. This would be more of the complementary color, but since we're choosing not to make it so vibrant, you choose a slightly colder version of your complementary color in order to create this more very uniform vibe. Whereas this is very high contrast, high difference. And you're probably gonna see me get frustrated with my brush, Jesse, as if you hadn't seen it already. Shoop. Shoop, shoop. It's hard to do it like that. Let's do it. Okay, this here we're gonna make darker because it's just too heckin' bright everywhere. You need a direction for your picture to go. We can't just have it super bright everywhere, or it just feels like then it's very hard for the viewer to figure out what am I supposed to focus on, right? Okay, so we're gonna decide everything on this side of that light is going to be darker like this. For this box right here, maybe I will choose to make it medium shade first, and then everything else on this side darker, right? Stupid ass brush! And now I'm not going to worry too much about making the color super varied just yet, because that's going to freak you out. We're going to just decide, okay, all your cool colors are going to be that blue color. And let's see, maybe I want Okay, we're gonna go for hard light, and we're just gonna reduce the opacity of it. And let's also merge that down, and we're gonna start making things a little bit darker even so. So squint your eyes if you're not sure. I'm trying real hard in order to create this contrasted look. So that means we have to have darks that are dark enough, or else the lights are going to feel very not compelling at all to look at. Maybe I went too dark. Let's go just a slight bit, not too much. Okay, so this one, it still feels a little bit too bright. So I want to make sure it's really that turquoisey color. Maybe we will make this a convenience store or something, I don't know. That way you really get that nice backlighting against the character, so his silhouette's going to end up looking nice. And that also means we gotta make everything else dark enough. So try different variations of those blues. You can try a more desaturated blue, more colder blue, and you're gonna pay attention to what effect those shifts in colors make for your blues in relative to the other blues that you're playing down, right? Easy way in order to do this Neon City Lightscape is you just erase it all, add your nighttime, and then add the lights back in. So we'll just erase it. And you can add back some of those lights. I don't know how those lights might look like. You can play around with like directions of them. Some can be bigger, some may be skinnier. And what I like to do to mimic those lights, for these ones, what this brush is basically doing is it's creating those lines. You see how like it looks like a skyscraper now? Something like that. I don't know, it's like really rough skyscraper. Okay, some weird skyscraper shit in the background. This sign right here you could make into where it could be. Make it into like a neon sign. Again, remember we're trying to use pretty saturated colors. Maybe right here you could add oh my god, where could be another sign right here. Maybe this one is a little bit more red with some blues back into it so it doesn't feel super out of place. I don't know, maybe you could have add a sign for the convenience store right here. Keep in mind I'm just doing very rough color options and building blocks for all of your pieces. So you're going to definitely have to clean up a lot of these ideas. Shoot. Let's find what happened to my music. Okay, maybe the sign's not here, maybe the sign's over here, I don't know. Called Jesse's. I don't know, maybe it could be. And here's your chance to kind of break in some of those colors in there. Bring some of those colors in there. And to keep with the whole neon lights vibe, you're going to definitely need some highlights or like reflection lights happening from the floor. I don't know, maybe that's a step right there. You could make this asphalt so it's darker. So we're now breaking up the road so it's not all one single value. We have more variety. Let's go, maybe this is a vending machine with a whole bunch of different colors in there. I would just add just a little bit of greens here and there because green is pretty similar in color to cyan, so it's fine to have just a little bit, don't do too much though. Maybe you'll have a bike right here so it doesn't feel too empty because it's so empty right here. There should be something else to help you bridge the gap. I, for the love of God, cannot draw a bike to save my life, so it's not a bike. I believe so. Haha. Okay, somewhat like a bike. I would also be careful about tangents like this. So what is a tangent is basically whenever two lines are touching or intersecting. So these two right here, it's too close together. We're gonna make this vending machine bigger and fatter so that these two lines no longer kind of intersect like that, and it feels more spacious. Alright, let's continue mapping out all these colors right here for you. Shoop, shoop, shoop. We're gonna try to bring some glow here and there, so everything kind of matches to the lighting source. Maybe there's like a sign right there or something, because I feel like this is too empty over here. And you really can't have any sources of lights if everything is too dark, right? I'm gonna cast a nice little overlay over here so it feels like the city is kind of glowing. Come on. Oh my god. Alright. We can either do orange or you can do blue. So if you do blue, it's going to end up looking very bluish. Then you would definitely need a lot more orangey stuffs right here in the middle so that this right here doesn't get overpowering. But if we do orange, like this, it feels a little bit more warm, but I also don't like how it's kind of taking away its tension. So maybe we'll go for more bluish colors over here. And I'm gonna make the the convenience store more of these orangey colors. Okay, maybe there's a window here. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways in order for us to lighten up this alleyway a little bit. And if we have lighter section right here. We need to balance it off with right here, needs to be darker. I try to stick to using more saturated versions of the color instead of the desaturated ones, because that's going to give you more of that neon lights feel. And you may be asking, why did I add this random tree? It's because I really need this part to feel light enough, so that means this background right here needs to be dark enough, or it's not going to feel right. Oops. Too many things happening at once. I'm going to darken up this top part right here because I need it to look very fuzzy, very blurred out, not in focus, because we want this to be focused, right? Alright, in that case, I want to reduce the amount of oranges I have in here because there's just too much. Everything's starting to feel very orangey. And to add some more character to this, we're going to maybe add a railing. Oh, this is garbage railing. Railing to the staircase. That way we have that opportunity for any bounce light to happen. and then I'm going to start breaking up some of these values right here. So we're just going to use our color adjustment tools. And this is how I figure out colors. I play around with the color picker till it falls onto something that I like. And I'm thinking for this one, maybe we'll do more of a greenish jacket because we have so much blues. We want to kind of balance it out a little bit. Okay, instead of orange for the sign, I am going to do just this cyan color, and then the background is the building, and then the sign can look something like that. I don't know. One tip about neon colors is typically it's a white with a color glow. See how that looks, Leon? Okay, I'm not gonna worry about any of the backpack details because that's going to drive you crazy trying to figure it out. Trying to figure out how to lighten up this area is going to be tough because we don't have enough light sources over here, so I may finagle this a little bit. Hello, hello. Just doing some critique stuff, trying to figure out how to do this justice. He's going for a very neon vibey kind of situation. Stuff like this. So we're trying to kind of give him the same idea. I'm not doing a lot of rendering because it's going to take a lot more time to do that. I'm trying to just get him on the right idea for the lighting and colors. I may scratch this whole lighting idea over here and just keep it blue because we need a good contrast between oranges and blue colors. So let me shift this color over. Biggest brush please. If any of you know why that happens to me, please tell me because it's driving me wild. Color. Shoop, shoop, shoop. That's not the mode I want. Is that the mode I want? Not really. Please, stupid brush. Okay. We gotta make ourselves a neon light city, so that is why we're doing kind of these glow effects on the bottom. I kind of want to darken this a little bit more still. It's just not really popping out, so I'm squinting my eyes. This bitch over here is bugging the F out of me, so we're gonna get rid of it. There's too many light sources over here that this is not popping out enough. If I want to do a light source, I can do like a tiny sliver, but I would not do a huge ass window like I just did. So more of the focus can be on the backgrounds over there. I don't know, maybe this is like the emergency shoot. The emergency light, I don't know. Some weird shit like that. Trying to think of different ways to break up the color. Let's see, what are some other stuff we can do to fill up the space? So maybe we'll put some boxes here. Because it's just way too heckin' empty all over. And that way you get even more cooler silhouettes, right? I would say don't do too much white because white is so fracking powerful. If you do too much, it can get super overwhelming really, really fast. So I'm just adding back some light to the tree so it feels like more believable. This mother effer refuses to cooperate, so we work with what we've got. I'm on the wrong lot. I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, just brighten up things in order for it to feel like it's really vibrating, really vibrant and popping out. So I'm going to increase the brightness of these babies so they really feel like they're glowing. This guy over here could maybe go down just a tad bit, so he doesn't take as much focus. Okay, so that's the general idea. If we really want to bring out this side of the leg some more, you're gonna have to add like a secondary light source. It's going to have to go like maybe you're walking up some stairs where there's a lot of apartments nearby with their lights on and their windows on. Something like that in order for the light to really pop out. And that way you can see a little bit more of his feet and his pants. Of course, this is not how you would light it, obviously, but I'm getting lazy, so we're just trying to get general color down. Ah! Yeah, so if you really wanted that extra lighting source, it would have to go that way. I don't know how I feel about orange though. Maybe I would just do like a blue. Because orange feels like it would take away from attention from the convenience store. So yeah, probably we'll go do blue. And we'll vary the blue just a little bit. Pissing me off. before, after. Before, after, before, after. I know it's a lot of contrast. You may not like it. You could always potentially go just a little bit lighter, but for neon stuff, you definitely need to be dark enough in order for everything to kind of show up properly for the neon lights. If you do want to go lighter, only lighterness I would go is about this much. And if you still don't like how blue everything looks, you can make it more blue-greenish. But I feel like that's too much in my opinion. Okay, so before, after. Just a little bit brighter. Keep in mind, look at your viewfinder. You want to make sure you can see everything properly. They're all good silhouettes, okay? I will be finishing up the tutorial video tomorrow. I'm tired, but I will let you guys get a little preview for those of you who decided to stay this long into the crit stream, because I know it is a lot of things to handle, especially when I'm just sitting here sometimes not saying anything because I'm trying to concentrate. Where is my Jojon? Okay, so all about line work. So you're going to see the contrast between this against one with like more colorful lines, different textures, and etc, etc. And this takes a long time to do. I originally told myself I was just going to draw a simple figure, but then I was like, let's do a full-on illustration. Why not make myself suffer? Okay. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. I will see you guys in next month. Hopefully next month we will have more art produced on the feed for the Patreon. I know I've been a little bit slacking lately. Life is just busy, and I'm also suffering from art block, so it doesn't help very much for the feed. So it makes sense why people left. I totally understand. But for those of you who have decided to stay in the Patreon, I thank you so much for all your support. You make it so much more worth it to be an artist in this day and age. Not that I'm doing it for the money, but the money does make it feel better to continue producing art. Okay? For my disciples, I will be uploading these into the Drive and then putting it in the Discord later today. And then I'll upload the Twitch VOD for y'all onto YouTube in just a bit, okay? So I hope you guys have a good evening, morning, whatever time zone you are in, and maybe we'll do more streams if I have more time, okay? Bye bye.